I'm Jack Wallace. I'm currently a Senior Research Officer at the Burnett Medical Research Institute in Melbourne, and I've been involved in the response to Hepatitis C for a number of years.
My name's Amanda Davies. I live and work in Garamilla, Darwin in the Northern Territory. I am the chairperson of the Northern Territory AIDS and Hepatitis Council. I've worked as a peer educator and then kind of progressed through the health system, but always having blood-borne viruses is part of my portfolio.
Before we came into the interview, I kind of remembered the fact that I'm old, that I got infected with hepatitis C a long time ago.
I was infected with the virus some 40 years ago. It's really been a big part of my personal life and my professional life. And I think there's lots of challenges with living with such a virus that's so stigmatised. And if anything about my experience is helpful to anyone else, I'd really like the opportunity to share that. So I was using injecting drugs in Sydney, in King's Cross, before needle and syringe programs came about. We were all using drugs dependently. We were all sharing injecting equipment. My dependent drug use had reached a pretty extreme level, and I was getting some treatment, and they sent me for some blood tests. And I came back positive for hepatitis B and positive for non-A, non-B at the time. It was quite a shock because I'd never heard of non-A, non-B hepatitis, and at that point it didn't actually even have a name.
When I was injecting, I was living in a household in Sydney, living with 4 other people, and they all came down with jaundice and were diagnosed with non-A, non-B. I didn't even notice that I probably got infected by then, but had no idea, probably because I was injecting so much that I wasn't physically well.
Yeah.
And so 1993, Christmas Eve, I got diagnosed with Hep C. The fact that I remember the date, I kind of find significant. Just because for people with Hep C, that point of diagnosis absolutely changes your life.
And I agree, it makes a huge difference. I was lucky enough to be diagnosed by an excellent gastro who knew a lot about injecting drug users. And whilst hepatitis non-A, non-B was a new virus and people didn't know a lot about it, it was the early 80s for me when I was diagnosed. Whilst it was a shock to have a virus that I didn't really understand and the health system didn't really understand either, I went on to continue to inject drugs for about a decade after that.
There was a really bad treatment that was available, which was interferon. Most of the people that I knew had a dreadful time on it. So there was also a sense of like, well, you can't do anything.
A lot of the symptoms that I experienced and lots of my friends experienced aren't apparent through liver function tests. So we had, brain fog and fatigue and some kind of depression. A lot of people had that consistently.
For me, the physical manifestation wasn't kind of really obvious. The social impact was more important because all of a sudden it was around, oh, I've got Hep C. Hep C is related to injecting drugs use. I have to be careful about who it is that I tell. I did find it really problematic engaging with specialists around having hepatitis because they forgot that I was a person. There was no kind of engagement with that at all.
Yeah, it's a very disease focus that they have, and they forget that many of us, the virus is attached to a life that we had or still have. And that relationship between injecting drug use and the disease and some of the complexities that sit around that and sensitivities are really critical.
The DAAs, the new drugs that came in 2016, 2015, 2016 in Australia, was just a dream. It was so easy. I couldn't believe how easy it was. I just had to use it for 8 weeks. No, maybe side effects, maybe that was my head, nothing terribly dramatic.
I was extremely grateful to have access to such an innovative free treatment. It's a real freedom that I have. I feel really grateful, and I think it's been a huge relief for me to not have that virus.
Also it just makes life easier. Living in the world is so much easier when you're being cured. We're so lucky in Australia to be able to have a health system that provides everyone with treatment. Anyone who's been diagnosed with hepatitis C, I'd absolutely encourage them to do it. It's easy, it's safe, there's no side effects. It's a pill for 60 or 90 days. And the impact of it is profound.
It's really freeing, and it will give you the opportunity to not have a disease that potentially will progress to liver cancer and cirrhosis.